Hey, how are you today? This is Josh Patrick, and you're at Cracking the Cash Flow Code. And my guest today is Scott Harkey from it's OH Partners or Ohio Partners. I'm not quite sure which.
I'm a
and
Sun Devil, so Ohio State's no go for me.
oh, okay. So Scott is a guy who started from scratch and has built himself a pretty good sized organization. Has a bunch of very famous clients that he's worked with over the years. But we're going to talk with him today about your construction company and why you might want to think a little bit different about your marketing than you do right now. So let's bring Scott on. We'll start the conversation. Hey, Scott, how are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. So here's my question for you. And you're the first marketing guy I've had a chance to ask this question to. So I'm going to be interested in your answer. One of the things I always tell people, I say, look, when someone's looking for your service, if I'm getting, like building a new deck or I'm doing a reconstruction or I'm building a house, where are they going to go first? They're going to go to Google. And if you have a lot of Google reviews that are really good, you're going to be pretty high up on the page. So why should you do anything besides that if you're in the construction world?
Great question. And let me just say, I've represented a ton of home builders, nationally, internationally. People like Shea Homes, helped them build out their Trilogy division, AV Homes. And I've certainly been asked this question a number of times. In home building or in even home remodeling businesses, even like me in the agency business, I think it's similar to a storage facility. You need it when you need it. And when you don't need it, you're not in the market or looking for it. So as a business in that kind of category where you only need those services like at that very specific time when you need those services, not any other time. So it's a very small window of shopping. Uh, and so Google search is a great piece. You want to be ranked high on Google, of course. Um, but there's a famous saying in the advertising business, and it says, "When they zig, we zag." The reason Google is so expensive to be up on the search ranking is because in those types of businesses, it's very competitive. So I always look to find the other ways to be a little bit earlier on the shopping list, so you're not just at that last dash and you're really competing on really expensive key terms because you can burn budget very fast on Google search. I don't know if that answered your question. You're looking at me like I'm not buying it.
Well, no, no, no. That's that. I mean, if I'm doing paid ads, pay per click, sure, that is very expensive. But what I found, at least it might be a small market thing, that if I get myself 30, 40, 50 Google reviews, I'm going to be ranked pretty highly whether I buy an ad or not.
I would agree that Google reviews are one of the biggest opportunities for search, but there's other factors, and Google changes their algorithm about every 6 months. Um, there's also a factor of what kind of brand you have in the marketplace, how many people are searching for you, what's your web traffic look like, how fast your site loads, what content you have on your site, how relevant your content is, what sort of PR has been driven. There's so many different factors, and Google doesn't release how they do their algorithm for ranking on search. But what they really ultimately want to do is serve the right option for their customer when they're searching, right? The most relevant, most credible option for their customer generally. So Google reviews is one of 100 factors to how you get ranked from searchability.
So what else would you have your clients do that makes some sense? And let's talk about this. This is a company with 15, maybe 20 employees. The owner
Yep.
has no technical ability and no time to build a site or to build marketing out, really.
Correct. I always like to start when we're talking about smaller companies, little resources, little budget. Every marketing person in the world is going to try to get you to spend more money, right? And that's annoying. Nobody wants to do that. You want to be as efficient as possible, and especially in my experience with the home building business or even home remodeling businesses, you need to focus on your craft and number one, do good work, and that's hard enough. And the good work that you do typically resonates with people, and you get referrals and you get known for doing good work. That's what you should be doing. Build a great brand, build a great service, do great work, and the marketing works itself out. Now, once you've done that and you have a small bit of resources, where I would start is building a great site that loads quick. That's the biggest, I think, missed opportunity is people have these sites and they're built like crap, or they have videos that load wrong. And Google penalizes you for that big time. They want good user experience and fast loading sites. They want it mobile friendly, and they want it loading properly. I would spend some time there and making sure your site's just set up. Technically, it's almost like having a house on bad foundation. Make sure the site is crossing off like the main things. Secondly, if I had a little bit of time and resources, I would look at PR opportunities. I think traditional PR is one of the most undervalued things for small business. News outlets are looking for content. They're looking to write about unique things that people are doing in the community. I would look at hiring a small boutique little PR person that could help get you stories, because that ranks you higher with Google and that gives you credibility, right? If the news is talking about you in your local marketplace, it makes you more relevant in the community. And I think it's low hanging fruit. You can get a freelance PR person very cheap. We're talking about $500 to $1,500. It's not very expensive. And then lastly, I would look at hiring small like video content creators and creating little video contents about what you do as a brand and what you do for your customers. Those are the three things: website, PR, and content opportunities.
Now let's go to a website. And what would you want to see people put on their website?
Uh, I like to see a website that's simple, that's clean, that it has a lot of photos and videos, and it's colorful. Um, Something that's well designed. So spend a little money, like have some nice. I mean, it's just like if you walk into a nice house or office building, you can tell one that looks like crap and one that looks nice. And I think people a lot of times skimp on their website design, and they have some kid in their basement do it, and it just doesn't look good. And it doesn't make your company look reputable. Now, with the amount of e-commerce that's happening, and it will continue, people are selling their services over the internet. You could be selling a house or a quote without someone coming into your physical office. Your website is another physical address, and you wouldn't have your office looking like crap. So I just want it to look nice, and I want it to be very clean and simple. We don't need 10 different navigation bars at the top. We need like 3 or 4, and have some discipline with not just putting everything you can up there. Only put the best stuff. This isn't a race to have as much content as possible. It's having discipline to having your best stuff. It's like seeing a cluttered home, right? Or a cluttered office. You want it to look nice and clean. And I think a lot of people, I've noticed, again, I'm on the side, I work with hundreds of creatives who want really nice design. They have very high-end design taste. And then I work with business owners. They want to make money and they want to do stuff. The design stuff, they don't necessarily care about, but it does matter, because people don't buy logically. People buy emotionally. We want to think people are doing things logically. They don't. They do things emotionally. And design and how things look matter. I know it sounds superficial, but that's how human beings work. And I think a lot of times when people are really working hard in their business, they forget that their consumers, their buyers, their customers don't do things because they're saving money or because it's a well-built house or because it's reputable. They do things emotionally because they're triggered in their limbic system in the back of their brain. And then they put it up to their frontal cortex to logically quantify why they made that emotional decision. So design matters. It really does.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So here's a question I have. You put a website together, and most people have a contact us page, which people can use to say, "Hey, I want some more information." And here's a mistake I see all the time, and I'm going to get to my question in a second.
Yeah.
Is that people design websites and do not put their phone number so it's easily found. That is, in my opinion, just a huge mistake. When I've been, trying to hire contractors myself, if I can't find the phone number, I just move on to the next guy.
I,
For,
I couldn't agree with you more. Yes. Look, I
so like,
mean, this
so
this is the
yes.
key. Your site needs to be mobile, and the phone number needs to be on every page, and it needs to be able to click to call right away, or to start a chat, or an autofill happens for an inquiry to come in so someone can get on the phone, right? They want to be able to, if they're interested and they're on your site, you have a hot lead, and if you're slow, 5 seconds slow, they're gone, right? And you've done all this work to get this hot lead, and they need to be able to get in touch with you to get an appointment made today. And the slower that response time is, the slower you get back to someone, you're getting leakage, you're losing people. I couldn't agree more. It's my pet peeve. You get a lead, you need to have every way possible they get in touch with you in the easiest, fastest way possible to make an appointment and to get somebody on the line, or get someone chatting, or get an email conversation going ASAP.
So here was a question I really was going to ask is, okay, we
Sorry,
have
I
a
jumped in.
no, that's fine. That was great. That was a really good answer. Sometimes things just pop into my mind. I have to go off on a side tangent. So I'm going to go
Sure.
back to my main tangent, which I was thinking about before, which is, okay, I have the right. Everyone's going to have a contact us page, and they usually stick it someplace you can't find it. On the other hand, you could have what's called a lead magnet, which is some piece of information which will get you a name and potentially a phone number, but at least a name to go on your mailing list about, the top 10 things about your business. Or there's a guy named Marcus Sheridan that has a great thing called They Ask You Tell, where they do a video, and it's a long video that answers all the questions that people generally have about your particular service. Is it more important to have a lead magnet, or is it more important just to have a contact us page in your website?
There's different consumer journeys for different customers, right? And so I've seen one consumer journey for people, meaning like how people shop. There's we'll call him Fred, and Fred wants to know everything about the company, their ratings, their reviews, and he will read and watch everything before he contacts the company. So you need a pathway for Fred, right? And to your point, I love frequently asked questions and answers in a word form or a video, because that really speaks to Fred and how he shops. But then Sue, on the other hand, she just wants to talk to someone live on the phone as fast as possible. She's busy, she's taking care of kids, she's working, and she likes this home builder. She likes this service. She's kind of heard about it through word, and she just needs to get someone on the phone. So having a pathway for Sue and Fred, and knowing what two customer groups that you serve and what their patterns are really important to your point. So, yeah, I love a frequently asked question portion of the site, in video and in word form. And then you called it a lead magnet. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm assuming.
Um, it's a piece that you can download. It might be,
Oh,
the 7 steps to creating a great patio, or
yeah,
why you need to replace your roof at 18 years and not 23 years, or something along that
for
line.
sure. Yeah, I love those. I'm not a big fan of downloadable stuff like PDFs. If there's a way, it's actually like what I would call like a landing page, or something that can be clicked to. I love that kind of stuff. Depending on the way the site's built, whether it's WordPress or Joomla or whatever the coding's in. But yeah, a lead magnet would be great too, because it's written in the form of how we read things, which is the way media companies write things. 7 things to consider when buying a new house, or 7 things to consider when choosing your remodel contractor, right? And writing it in the form of how a news person would write it, absolutely, and making it colorful and making it appealing, absolutely. I love that idea, but I wouldn't recommend something that you have to download.
Okay, interesting. You're the first person I've heard, because if you download something, you get their email address.
Yeah, I get that. Again, let's go through some consumer journeys. There's some people that are going to be on their computer, and they're okay with downloading something, right, and saving it or downloading something. There's other people that are like, I'm not downloading anything off my computer, and there's the other half of the traffic that are on their mobile phone. And downloading something on your mobile phone sucks, and you don't want to do it. So
Yeah, no, I
um,
agree with that.
right? So, look, getting an email address is nice, but you have a hot lead. Forget about the email address. You have someone interested, and they're shopping you on your site. So, lead capture, I don't think matters at that point. Like, it's let's get this hot lead closed. We'll forget about the email address later. We can do that. We can do that at a different time. I don't like things downloadable. I really don't, because half the traffic's on your mobile, so those people don't want to download stuff, and then half the people that are on their desktop, half of those people don't like downloading on their desktop. So the downloadable PDFs probably relevant to 25% of the people, in my opinion.
Okay, well, that makes pretty good sense. So we can move on from there. Here's my next stupid question, which which is, okay, there seems to be a lot of movement towards video email these days. There's like 19 different companies selling a BombBomb and Dub and Loom.
Yep.
Would you recommend that a contractor, when someone said, I want more information, would you send them is a video email something that is a good way to respond, or just a regular old fashioned email?
Yes. The answer is yes. Uh, I like both. I like options, right? Again, you have two different ways people want to receive information. There's some people that love reading emails, and there's some people that everything's video. I personally want video, but there's other people that want to read emails. So I like to have an option for both, where you have the written part of an email, and then you also have a video link. Um, I prefer both personally. People are the amount of people that are consuming video content. It's insane. We saw this coming 5 years ago. It's only getting more, but people don't have enough time in the day, so we need to make things easy. I like short videos as a rule, like no more than a minute and a half, as a general rule. Short videos, less than a minute and a half, perform really well. Anything over a minute and a half doesn't do very well. If you look at open rates, and if you actually, there's been people that have studied people reading emails about how much they read headlines. They don't read fully through the email, most people. Now, there's some that do. So for that fact, I like giving an option for both, if that's an option as part of your service provider, whether you're using HubSpot or whatever other email providers out there that people are using. I like both, but video is only going to continue. So the more video you can be doing and getting yourself used to that, I think is good.
Yeah, I agree with, I actually like that idea a lot. I mean, all our videos we put on our website have transcripts. So if you
Yeah,
don't want to sit there for 7 minutes and watch my video, you can read the transcript. And I
and
mean,
I like to your
it's,
point. I like videos that have the words in it too, right? So
yeah,
so
we
so
also do
sometimes
see,
people,
yes. Yeah, we do
yeah.
subtitles also. Yeah. It's whatever people want, however somebody wants to consume something, you really should give them a chance to do it if at all possible.
Correct. For some of our big clients, we really, as an ad agent, I mean, we work with Disney, we work with Virgin, we work with some big clients, and what we see is in most of our clients, big and small, you have typically two, four, or five different consumer behavior. And so having customization to your products and services and your marketing to those groups, and really understanding, to my points, the difference from Fred and Sue, and how they consume differently, how they buy differently, but you'll see some patterns, and how you can formulate not just your marketing but your products and services to those people. We see a lot of success.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. So we only have a few minutes left, Scott. So what are the two or three things that you would really like to see a contractor do? Get a good website. That's great. I think they should have high Google reviews if that's possible, because that works well. What else would you say this is really important for you to do?
I think, again, to my earlier point, PR is like a very underrated opportunity for small business. Um, as much as nowadays people don't believe news media the way they did, Edelman put out a trust barometer report. They do it every year. We're at an all-time high for mistrust, particularly in North America. No one believes anything, right? I think it's like 87% of consumers in the US alone don't believe anything. They don't believe teachers, they don't believe parents, they don't believe news media, they don't believe coworkers, they don't believe anything. So, how can you gain more trust as a brand? I think PR really helps. Local newspapers, any sort of people writing about you, I think helps. Again, some people aren't going to think that media is super credible. Others will, but the more you can get other people talking about, reviews are great, of course, to your point. Getting your trust barometer up, right? Getting people to trust your brand. So I think PR is a big opportunity, and then video. The cool thing today is you don't need expensive video production. You can shoot video on an iPhone. There's no excuse not to be creating video content about what you're doing, testimonials, your process, behind the scenes, finished products, before and afters. There is a million opportunities to create video, and there is a million video content creators and producers that you can hire if you don't want to create your own video. But you should have a YouTube channel. You should be posting video. You should be posting long video, short video, medium sized video. Video content is the key it's the next frontier of SEO. How you're ranking in your videos in your home market, because people are going to be on YouTube and they're going to be searching home builder, Delaware, or home kitchen remodel, whatever, and they're not going to be searching on Google. They're going to be searching on YouTube. Sight, sound, motion creates emotion. And when people are buying based off emotion, that sight, sound, motion is really helpful. So I think the biggest opportunity for small and big brands is video content creation at mass scale, small, long, and it doesn't have to be this $10,000 highly produced video. It can be just literally somebody talking about how they did something, or a project they were passionate about, or a testimonial that someone they got on video, anything.
Makes sense. So, Scott, we are unfortunately out of time. And you've been one of the best sports and one of our best guests from the marketing world we've had on in a long time. So I'm going to
Thank you.
assume that if somebody's thinking about doing some marketing or developing a marketing strategy for their company, they might be interested in talking to you. So how would they go about doing that?
Sure. Yeah. I've tried to transition a little bit. We represent a lot of Fortune 5,000 brands, but I think some of the same strategies and tactics can be scaled down for smaller businesses or medium-sized businesses, family businesses. So I'm creating a lot of content just to give people hope in the marketing world, just to help people understand how they can do marketing themselves. They don't need a big agency. They don't need to pay firms like mine or others, hundreds of thousands of dollars. They can take just small tip advice stuff and implement into their business. So certainly follow me on Instagram, Scott Harkey. Follow me on LinkedIn. I have a podcast called Rebrand coming out, and I have a book coming out called New World Marketing. And I just want to provide what's made big brands successful to entrepreneurs and smaller brands. And that's probably the easiest way to get free tips from me. And then certainly reach out if there's something that anybody's looking for in terms of, like, maybe it's a PR freelancer in their market. I'll just help them find it and help coach people through this. I hate people in the marketing industry that take advantage of people, and I think it happens a lot. And they say they're going to do something, or say they're going to get you business, and their fees are too high. So I really try to put brands and entrepreneurs and smaller businesses and pair them up with the right people so they don't go to a firm and have a bad marketing experience. So kind of a long answer to your question, but yeah, Instagram, Scott Harkey is probably easiest.
Okay, cool. And I've got two things I'd like you to do. One is please go wherever you're listening to this podcast and give us an honest and rating review. And while you're there, subscribe. We've been doing this for about 7 years now, and we have lots of good content out there. It's pretty much like this conversation we just had with Scott. Second thing I'd like you to do is I've been running a weekly newsletter I've been writing a newsletter for 40 years, and it's been weekly for 18 years now. And it's really easy to get. You just go to our website, www.sustainablebusiness.co/newsletter. Give me your first name and your email address, and every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, as long as I don't have a tech glitch like I had this week, it'll be in your mailbox. So this is Josh Patrick. You're with Scott Harkey. You're at Cracking the Cashflow Code. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope to see you back here real